Hey everybody, it's DeathsStalker, and I am finally, and I do mean finally, back on the RC51. Just in time, pretty much for it to go away for the winter. But we have a nice day, so I thought I'd take it for a little run. The weather this September has been absolutely horrible. Now I have posted a few things on Instagram. You can follow me at that if you don't already follow me. But haven't done a lot of videos simply because I think people are getting tired of looking at a RC51 that's been under reassembly since the last week of June. I'm just riding through town because I haven't been out here for so long. My favorite access out of town right there is closed for 2 years. They got to replace a bridge. That's after being closed for 18 months the year before. So anyways, what happened? Well, I was waiting forever for a brake pedal. I ordered the part, and they said they had it in stock. That was the literally the day of the drop, so it should not have been a problem. Like, I figured a week, maybe two. Thought it was going to come by UPS, and it got delayed, and it didn't actually show up until the last week of August. Now, I was waiting for other parts as well, but essentially the bike, by about the third week of July, was ready to go. I was just waiting for the brake pedal, and it came through the U.S. Postal Service, Canadian Postal Service, where apparently both of them are slowing down parcel delivery on purpose, which kind of sucks when you're waiting for parts. But anyways, back to the end of August. I got the parts. I'm literally in the process of putting this thing back together again, thinking, hey, I might be able to take it for a ride before the September long weekend for Labor Day. And I get a phone call, and it's from my doctor's office. Now, if anybody's followed me for a while, they know I have some problems with my sinuses. I've had them since I was 18 years old. It's not the you know, super serious, but it's something that I've had for ever, and I could treat it with over-the-counter sinus medicine. If you live in North America, it's like Sinutab or Sudafed, that sort of stuff, and it worked fine. And then about 4 years ago, I had a issue with extremely high blood pressure, and it turned out one of the side effects of long-term sinus medicine is high blood pressure. So I had to stop, and that's when the problem with my sinuses really started to act up, which basically meant I was having a hard time breathing, and more importantly, a hard time sleeping. Like, for the last 3 years, I have conservatively woken up anywhere from 6 to 12 times a night because I couldn't breathe. Sinuses get all congested. I was using 4 pillows to support my head, just so I could, you know, help everything drain, which of course was messing up my neck and back, which are two things I've managed to hurt from racing motorcycles. So I had to go see a sinus doctor, and she looked at it, and there was a procedure, aka a surgery, that could, there was about an 80% chance it was going to fix the problem. And like everything else, it's sort of your choice if you want to do it or not. And like not having any sleep for 3 years, I was more than happy to get it done. And then, of course, you know, in Canada we have, you know, technically free healthcare, but free healthcare does not necessarily mean fast healthcare. So I ended up, you know, you're on the waiting list, you get it when you get it, and then COVID struck. So I've been waiting for, I'm going to say 3 years, more or less. And I was literally tightening up the axle bolt on this bike after doing the brakes, and I got a phone call from the doctor saying, we have your date. And awesome, when? So they told me that it was like basically about 2 weeks from the time of the phone call. And then they said, okay, here's what you have to do. And like, you have to do this pre-op thing where you go for usually a week before the surgery, and with the COVID thing, you had to have a COVID test, but I had to have the COVID test 3 days before the surgery. Exactly. No earlier or later than 3 days. So that's a whole nother story. But then there was a whole bunch of things, don'ts. And one of the things is, don't get any cuts, any infections, any strains or injuries, or your surgery will be canceled. Don't hang out with COVID people, you know, which is like no-brainer. But all these things that basically meant if I got a cut and an infection from working on my bike, I wouldn't get the surgery, and I'd get put back to the bottom of the list. So I basically put the tools down and walked back in the house and played video games for about the 2 weeks that I had to wait. And that took me to the middle of September, had the surgery, and then it was a case, you know, they gave you like a small folder saying, okay, you've had your surgery, this is what happens, this is what's going to go on, blah blah blah. And the first thing they said is no heavy lifting, no straining for 2 weeks. And I went like, crap, that's now the end of September, so I'm losing a month. And me being me, I was sort of wondering whether or not I could get away with a little bit. But then the day of the surgery, the next day after the surgery, by the way, you're in there with your nose, and it's like I sniffle and I have a massive nosebleed, and that's normal. And I went and had a little sit down on the toilet and didn't even strain and had a nosebleed. So it basically meant 2 weeks of doing nothing. So that got done. I was finally putting the bike back together again. Was really happy. It's all set, ready to go. I actually did an Instagram video saying, hey, I'll be up and running and I'll be riding the bike hopefully the next day because the weather looks good. Well, I have never seen so much stupid rain in my entire life that we have had for the last 3 weeks. And it's not like it was a case of it was going to rain one day and then be sunny the next. It was going to rain 4 or 5 times this day and then all day the next, and then 4 or 5 times the next day and rain all the next. And I'm not talking like just a little spitting drizzle sort of thing. This is called fill your boots full of water as if you tried to ride your motorcycle. So needless to say, I didn't get to ride my bike. In fact, it didn't even look like I was going to ride my bike today because the weather report said it was going to be crappy. But I got up this morning and it is a gorgeous day. Like, this is the week after Canadian Thanksgiving, and it is about 19 Celsius, which is about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Just the most perfect weather for riding a motorcycle. So I am absolutely thrilled. Now, of course, this is October, so the weather can change instantaneously. In fact, it's calling, like, was supposed to be a nice day tomorrow, is now calling for rain again. So it's, you know, 2021 has been a horrible year. All summer was like temperatures in the 40s, and if it wasn't 40 degrees, it was pouring rain. And this year, yep, at the very least, I'm going to get out for 1 or 2 rides before the season is over. And then probably in a week or so, unless the weather stays nice, this thing's probably going to be parked for the winter. So anyways, that's a little update. Hope it's coherent. I have tried doing a bunch of videos in the shop, and it's been so long since I've been on the bike, it's hard to put more than 2 thoughts together and make a complete sentence. So I think being on the bike actually helps. Anyways, not going to be a lot of videos this winter because this thing was parked. So we'll get what we can get, and we'll try starting over again in 2022. DeathsStalker signing off.